Alright guys, welcome back to my cave, my garage. In this one we're going to do a video on a request on how to do a tune-up on an '07 Altima with a 4-cylinder in it, 2.5 liter 4-cylinder. Unfortunately it started misfiring before we started doing it, so we had to diagnose that first. So we're going to throw that in as a bonus to so you can see how it's done. First thing we ended up doing was get a code reader, nothing fancy, not being supported by CRP or anything like that, but it seems to work, man, for the price, and it had a cylinder 3 misfire. So we're going to look into that, and we're going to show you what we did to figure out what's going on there, and stay tuned, and we'll be right back. One thing that I didn't mention is that the CRP 123 is more than a code reader. It's a mini scan tool. Okay, so it does a lot more than just a code reader, and it's got data stream and other little features, and can read more than one module. So that's what we used. All right, guys, since it had a number 3 cylinder misfire, we're gonna have to access it. Very simple. We already done this before. Just put it back together so we can park the vehicle. But first thing you want to do is take off the cover. It's only got three bolts on there, and do that on the head. It's like a 7mm or something. No big deal. Basic tools. That's it. That's all you need for this. Put that aside over there. Now, as you can see, we marked the coils. That way we don't want to mess around. Because if you mix them, they're identical. If you mix them up, you might have to just redo it over again. It's not a big deal, but just what it is. So first thing we started, they had a 3 misfire here. Okay. So what you want to do is you want to change the plug in the coil over to number 4, and the number 4 coil and plug to number 3. Okay. Now after you do that, you go and you clear the codes, and then you start it up and run it, and you see if the code moved. If the code moved to number 4 cylinder, you know it's the coil or the plug. Okay. If it stays in number 3, it's something different. We can show you that on another video where we find that there's an internal problem or injector or something different. But if it moves with it, you know it's one of the 2 components that got moved. So what you want to do next is clear the codes again, move just the coil back, okay, which is what we did, and the misfire actually went back to the number 3 cylinder. So we know it's a coil. We know it's a bad coil, and you move the parts, switch them around. OBD2 is a pretty good system, actually a very good system that knows how to differentiate. So it can tell you which particular cylinder is misfiring. Okay. Another thing I wanted to mention is that you have to be real careful, because this is an 07. Okay. The wiring harness the engine harness is very brittle, so you have to be very careful on how you move it, how you treat it and stuff. And for example, it's very common for the wires to break at the connector. Actually, one of them you can see the insulation crack, but we're not going to worry about that for now, because we know it's a coil for now. Obviously, it needs connectors, it needs a harness, but and the minimum connectors for each coil, but we're not going to do that. And if we do, we'll show you, how to do that and solder and splice them in. Okay. But for now, we're just going to show you what's going on here. Just lock them all back in place, and then you go ahead and clear the codes and start up the vehicle. And gosh, this weather is just terrible. But could be worse. Could be in Phoenix, where my brother's at. Alright guys, we went and cleared the codes and started it up, and little mini scanner sure does help. I mean, it's not the best, but definitely way better than a simple code reading. So, and as you can see, it seems to be running a lot smoother. I'm not going to put the cover back on right now because I still have things to do with it, but you know, definitely bad coil. Okay. Keep watching. There's other videos on, I did the headlight polishing. It's kind of, car's been sitting for a week, so you can't tell, but you know, how to refinish them and, you know, what not to do and stuff. So blower motor. So this is a work in progress. So this I'm making as many videos as I can as I have time for also. So I will stick around and keep watching.